This is Stafford Green-White-Checkered.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Stafford Green-White-Checkered. I'm your host, your Stafford Insider, Darren Ayotte, where we're going to be breaking down every Friday night of racing from Stafford Springs' own Stafford Motor Speedway. We will have up-to-date recaps for you from the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series at Stafford. We'll have point standings, interviews, and a heck of a lot more. So let's get started with our Stafford headlines of the week from this past Friday night at Stafford. The 59 of Ronnie Williams engaged in a heated battle with Ryan Preece in the SK Modified feature. The battle waged on for the final 10-plus laps with Preece and Williams' back bumper all the way through. Waiting for him to make a mistake he was, but Ronnie would not make a mistake. We'll have the recap for you coming up later on in the show. There has been a major swing in the battle for the Limited Late Model Championship after points leader Al Saunders finished 12th in Friday night's feature. Andrew Hayes would take full advantage of that, and the once 52-point lead has been shaved all the way down to a mere 14 points. And finally, 3 drivers won their second race of 2015, including rookie Marcello Ruffano in the Dare Stock. We'll have all 3 of those finishes to those races coming up soon. But right now, we're going to get to the Legend Car recap, as we always start with. And points leader Devin O'Connell was looking to win 3 straight races for the second time this season. Meanwhile, the 28 of Teddy Hodgson, who has had a solid season all around, has been just shy of getting his first career win at Stafford. 5 straight top 5s coming into this Friday night's race for him gave Hodgson the momentum he needed to finally get into victory lane. Even a late race caution wouldn't stop the 28 car.
White flag is out, final time by. Meanwhile, it is still Devin O'Connell in for second. Noah Connor is third in the 75. Corey DiMatteo, he's been fighting with that car since lap 1. But
Here comes Ted Hodgson looking for his first ever Stafford win, and he has it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I just got right in front of Brett there, and we just held it on. And it seems like we were the fastest car tonight. I guess we were. Just drove a fantastic straight, hit my marks.
Congratulations to Teddy Hodgson getting his first career win at Stafford Motor Speedway. After that caution and on that restart, he just drove the heck out of that car and would not look back. Congratulations to him. So now let's give you the full results from that feature. And while there was one more car in the feature at least today, there was a 9-car field. Devin O'Connell, your points leader, finishes second behind him. He did spin on lap number 13 and rebounded for second, so that's really a big story as well. There was a lot of bumping and grinding in this feature event. 12 top 2 for Devin O'Connell. Noah Corner in that 31 car. He finished in the 3rd position, his 8th top 5, and his 3rd podium. He rebounded from a lap 14 spin, so your podium consists of 2 guys that spun out at one point during the race. It goes to show you how strong those 2 guys had in this race. Corey DiMatteo finishes in the 4th position, his first race back since July 17th. Remember, of course, he had that engine problem and he was unable to get to the track, but finally able to get an engine going in that 75 car. Dana DiMatteo, your defending series champion, finishes in the 6th spot. He was sent to the back on lap 14 after spinning the 31 car. There was a little bit of contact and they ruled it aggressive driving. Brett Crowther finishes 7th, Jerry Macchia in 8th, and Ryan DeCandia rounds out your field in the 9th position. So here are your updated Legend Car standings with just 6 races to go. I know that's hard to believe. Dana DiMatteo now 32 points back to Devin O'Connell. Teddy Hodgson picks up 2 points, so he's 116 back. And Corey DiMatteo has quite a bit of ground to make up if he wants to get back into this championship hunt. It may be too little, too late for him. Brett Crowther and Noah Corner both pick up positions. Noah picks up 2, Andrew Moeller drops 2, and Jerry Macchia, who did not race, drops 1 spot. So overall, still, that 2-car battle, between Devin O'Connell and Dana DiMatteo for the Legend Car Division Championship. It's going to go right down to the very end for the Legend Cars. So it's on to the late model feature now. Yes, they are second in the recap lineup this week. With points leader Michael Bennett spinning early in the race, the battle for the lead was a wide open one between Ed Ricard, Wayne Corey Jr., and Tom Fern, who was looking for his 7th win of the year. Fern took the lead with over 20 laps to go, but as he pulled away, some smoke came from his car, which became very noticeable in every turn. Weren't sure if it was brakes or some kind of problem inside the car, but nonetheless, he milked it and kept it going. Fern tried his absolute best to take that car to victory lane. And with 10 of Wayne Corey Jr. closing to his bumper, he really had his hands full. Take a look.
Final circuit. Fern looking for his 6th win of 2015. Setting the pace. Wayne Corey running in his tire tracks. Down the back straightaway. Final time through turn number 3. Corey reels him in. Lapped automobile is Cook. Fern is still the leader. The gap is closed. Off turn number 4. It is Tom Fern to take down the victory.
Yeah, the race was pretty tough there. Wayne was real good all night long right there with me, so there was no slouching tonight. So we got to thank, like I said, my crew, my wife, my sponsors, and my family and friends, and all you here at Stafford. Ingersoll Rand, Napa, and what do we got? Mr. Reuter, Sunoco, Hoosier Tires.
So Tom Fern does indeed hang on for his 7th, yes, his 7th victory of the season. How about that for Tommy Fern in that 92 car? So here are the full top 10 results now for you in this feature event, 30-lap feature. So Wayne Corey Jr. finishes second, his 3rd top 5 in 4 starts, which includes 2 second-place finishes. We talked to him after the race. He said he really, really wants to win. Tom Butler gets his 5th podium of the year in the 3rd spot, his 10th top 5 as well. Kevin Gambacorta finishes in 5th. Michael Bennett, who spun on lap 2, recovered for a nice 7th-place finish, so it wasn't too hard of a hit in those point standings. Rich Hammond rounded out your top 10. He had contact with that 16 car. As the 16 car backed up in the center of the corner, that's where that contact was initially made. But both of them were able to round out the top 10 in a 12-car field for this event. So here are the championship standings now in the late models. 6 races to go. Kevin Gambacorta, 44 points back to Michael Bennett. He picked up 4 points on him. Followed by Josh Wood, who picks up 2 points. Tom Butler, he's only 56 back now. So he's making it a 3-car race between 2nd to 5th to go, 2nd to 4th to go at it with Michael Bennett. Tom Fern also picks up some valuable points. He's only 88 points behind now. So 5 cars separated by 88 points in the late model division. And your only movement was rookie Michael Ray. He moves into the 7th spot over Michael Scorzelli, who drops to 8th after another tough finish for the 16 car. Excuse me, the 18 car. So it's on now to the limited late model feature. And Andrew Hayes was looking to join Tom Fern as the only driver to win 4 straight feature events this season. Hayes would have his work cut out for him, though, with a very competitive field. He worked his way to the front with a few laps to go, but one driver was able to hang on to the lead and snap his streak. Take a look.
White flag lap. David Ayotte is all over the Bren car in the 4th spot. Paul Ayotte trying to hold on to be on the podium in 3rd. But off turn number 4, Provost looking at a feature event win to his credit, and yes, he does. 2nd is Hayes. Here's the battle for 3rd, and Paul Ayotte will finish on the podium.
Thanks. Yeah, it was real dicey. It was real loose, and I was glad I was able to hold on to it and pull that off. It was really a long time since I got here. I want to thank my brother Derek, helped me all week. I tore apart the whole front end of this car, and after riding around in the back last week, I just said I got to change something, and it's been a real hectic year. I've been moving, just having a lot of time dedicated on the car, and I put it back to where it needs to be, and I hate to put a stinker into Andrew's, would have been his 4th victory in a row, but I had to.
So how about Dwayne Provost in that 88 car getting his 2nd win of the season? Here are the top 10 now from that 20-lap feature event. Andrew Hayes, the 9-car finishes in the 2nd spot. His 3-race win streak has officially been snapped, but still a solid points day overall. Paul Ayotte finishes in the 3rd spot in that 82 car, his 4th podium and his 7th top 5 of the season. Justin Brennan in that 66 car gets another 4th place finish, his 7th straight top 5. Robert Blockstrom III, after his 3rd place finish last week, finishes in the top 10 once again in the 8th spot. And rounding out your top 10, in that number 8 car was David Como in a 13-car field, which included Al Saunders, your points leader. He finishes in 12th, has problems all race long, and that is a heavy hit in the point standings. So let's check out the updated limited late model standings now and look at how close Andrew Hayes is to Al Saunders. Just 14 points. He picks up 20 valuable points on him this week. That really changes everything. Don't forget, he was 52 points out of the lead before this. David Arute is 56 back. He also picked up some points. So those 3 guys are going to go at it for the championship. Dwayne Probst picked up some more. He's 74 back. Cliff Saunders is 86 back to Justin Brenn's 98. Paul Arute in that 82 car, he is 122 back, still hanging in there. And Robert Bloxham picks up another spot in the standings after picking up 2 last week. He picks up 1 this week tonight, as Kelsey Rutino drops another spot with another tough finish. That is your top 10 for the Limited Late Model Championship standings. So now it's dare stock time. With just 12 points separating Frank Latois and Tyler Trott, both knew that they needed to finish ahead of the other as the races continued to dwindle down. But it was rookie Marcello Refrano who would take the spotlight, going for his 2nd win of the season and his 2nd in the last 5 races.
Marcello Refrano brings them back to the line as they cross the stripe.
One more time around. Let's see if Frank Latois Jr. has anything left. Does he have enough ammunition to shoot down Refrano? And here comes Marcello. Helter-skelter into turn 3.
No question about it. Tyler Trott muscles his way underneath fire. Ladies and gentlemen, off turn number 4, the Wheelers Auto Machine. Marcello Refrano, 2 wins in 2015. Frank Latois will finish in 2nd.
You know, before we went out on the track, my father said, just don't look in the mirror, just drive what you got to do. And I did. You know, I didn't look back once. I'm sorry if I got in the byre a couple of times down the back stretch. I really couldn't see him. Great drive for everybody here. I know setting up this car was unbelievable. The work that went into this car over the weekend, unbelievable. You know.
So Marcello Refrano in that 48 car gets the smooth restart that he needed on that green-white checkered finish to get his 2nd win of the year. Here are the top 10 now from that 15-lap feature event at Stafford, and Frank Latois Jr. finishes in the 2nd position. His 17 top 5s and 10 podiums lead all drivers. He's also got 7 top 2s as well, as Frank Latois continues to be the most consistent driver among all divisions at Stafford. Tyler Trott, you see he finishes in 3rd, so he loses 2 points now to Frank Latois Jr. The big thing I think about Tyler Trott, though, in this race was he had heavy front end damage after being involved in that wreck just before the green-white checkered with the 93 of Dan Denbeck. Heavy front end damage. He did not actually have any major issues, though, because he restarted in 4th and finished in 3rd. So still a solid day for Tyler Trott, and he also mentioned that it did not puncture the radiator, which was a major thing. Trace Beyer gets another top 5 in the 4th spot, with Alexandra Fern, last week's winner, in 5th, her 10th top 5. Zach Robinson finishes in the 6th position, with a couple more rookies in 8th and 9th, and Dan Denbeck, who spun on lap 13 in turn number 4 and collected the 11 car, finished in the 10th position in a 12-car field for this event. So now your updated Dare stock standings. 6 races to go. 14 points. Tyler Trott to Frank Latois. 34 to Dan Denbeck. 54 to Trace Beyer. So not a lot of movement as far as points-wise goes, but still very competitive. A lot to be decided between Tyler Trott and Frank Latois. Both of those guys racing as hard as they can every single week. No changes, though, among positioning in the standings, as has happened the last few weeks in the Dare stock. Zach Robinson, though, your rookie, we're keeping track of his Rookie of the Year standings. He is in the 6th spot, 108 points back, with Alexandra Fern, 72 back in 5th. So it's now time for the SK Life feature recap. Paul French led early, had a good start, but the battle for the win at the end would come down to Nick Salva, Stephen Kopchik, your points leader, rookie Daniel Wesson, who won last week, and Peyton Henry, who's always hungry for another win. Salva was looking for the lead with just 1 lap to go. Take a look.
Off the 4th turn, Salva with inches in front as they cross the line. It is Peyton Henry on the last circuit by. This is the one that counts the most. Down the back straightaway, Peyton Henry strings it out. Nick Salva to the bottom, deep into turn number 3.
Here comes Salva, giving it everything he has. They come off turn number 4 on the way to the line. Peyton Henry has done it.
You know, Stash has just got the setup working on the outside, and once we get up there, we want our last one the same way on the outside like that. And that was a lot of fun racing with Nick there. That was good, clean racing. I hope that was a good show for the fans. But big birthday shout out to my mom. I mean, she puts everything into this deal, and so glad to be able to win on her birthday. But yeah, just everybody who put this car back together this week, you know, we kind of had one taken away from us last week.
So how about Peyton Henry? What a finish to that feature event. That 55 team had a strong car, and they earned that second victory. So let's take a look at the finishing results for the SK Light feature. Nick Salva, he does come home second. I think he needed just one more lap to get back to victory lane, but he does get back on the podium after not getting on the podium in the last 2 races. Stephen Kopchik remains your points leader with a 3rd place finish, and he also extends his lead. As you can see, Joey Farino and DJ Burnham finished 7th and 8th. They just really didn't have the car this week. They kind of missed the setup, and unfortunately it really showed. In this 19-car field, really lost some points to Stephen Kopchik. Kyle Jetty finishes in the 6th spot, so another top 10 for him. How about Todd Doulard? He finishes in the 5th spot. He was battling for the lead early on. He gets his first top 5 at 2015, so congratulations to the number 16 team. Paul French, who led early, finished 9th, and Jay Goff finished in the 10th spot. Your notables for this 19-car field were Tony Membrino Jr. in 11th, Jeff Beaujolais in 13th, and Bob Charland gets a heavy hit. He finished in 18th. So now the updated SK Light standings after 17 races. 18 points now the gap to DJ Burnham from Stephen Kopchik, with Joey Farino 28 back. Tony Membrino Jr. picks up those 2 positions back in the standings, though he is 82 back now. Jeff Beaujolais and Bob Charland with their finishes fell down. Daniel Wesson is 100 points out in that number 92 car. Peyton Henry does not pick up a position with his win, but he does pick up quite a few points. Now just 148 back. And Nick Salva and Wesley Prucker, those are the 2 changes. Salva picks up 2 spots with his 2nd place. Wesley Prucker loses a position with his finish outside of the top 10. So it's time for the main event now, the SK Modified Feature Recap. All of the big guns in the SK started in the back of the field, but they made their way to the front in really no time. Except for Rowan Pennick, your points leader, who got caught in a lap 8 spin in the infield. Certainly looked a lot worse than it was, though. There were no major damage to that 99 car, just spun the tires a little bit in the grass. He was able to rebound for 3rd place finish, though, a solid day. But the battle for the win was between Ronnie Williams and Ryan Preece, 2 ever-so-hungry drivers. Take a look.
Ronnie Williams strings it out at the point. Final time through turn number 2. Williams steps on the gas like a rocket. He heads down into turn 3. Ronnie Williams passed one of the best and never looked back. Williams will take down the win. Preece will finish in 2nd.
Yeah, it was good. I got into Preece on the backstretch. I really didn't mean to, so I'm sorry for him for that. Yeah, I was just watching the way he was doing it, going through 1 and 2, because my car was real tight. And I got his line, thought I could beat him. Thank you. And, you know, I kind of owe it to him a little bit, because if he wasn't running high, I probably wouldn't have caught him. So had a little different down in 3 and 4, but in the end it paid off. We had the fast car. I know going heat race, I was not sure about this car at all. And Stash said just go with it. And I can always listen to him. He's the man. So I'm pretty happy with
A big smile for Ronnie Williams in that 59 car, who gets his 5th win of 2015 and his 3rd in the last 4 races. So he has really turned things around since that SK5K event and that 7-week slump he had earlier in the year. So now let's give you the final results for that SK Modified Feature Recap. It was a good battle between him and Ryan Preece, but Ryan Preece will finish 2nd, his 11th podium of the year. He picks up 2 points though on Rowan Pennick, who finished in 3rd. Keith Rocco gets a 4th place finish despite racing in pain. His 3rd top 5 in the last 7 races. Not really typical Rocco form. He's usually a top 5 car every race, but playing through the injury, it's really a lot of credit for him. Woody Pickett in that 50 car, he finishes in the 5th spot, so another top 5 for him, 2 in a row. Mike Christopher Jr. gets another top 5 in that 82 car in 7th. Joey Cipriano, he finishes in the 8th spot, and Eric Byrne and Matt Galco round out your top 10 in a 16-car field. That is the least amount of cars we've seen in an SK Modified race this season. So now the championship standings with 6 races to go in the SK Modifieds. And it's 10 points between Ryan Preece and Rowan Pennick. That's really going to go down to the very end. I'd have to imagine it may go down to the very last race, maybe even the very last lap between those two guys. Heath Rocco picks up some much-needed points finally for him, 66 points back, so he's trying to make it a 3-way battle. Matt Galco loses some points, so he's 136 back, quite a gap between 3rd and 4th. Your only major change was Todd Owen and Michael Jarvis Jr., who flip-flopped after changing last week. So Jarvis Jr. loses that spot back to Todd Owen. But Ted Christopher rounds out your top 10. He remains in the top 10 in the standings, 274 points back of the leader. We will now end the show with this week's Stafford Fast Fact. 4 points races in the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series at Stafford are currently being decided by less than 20 points. The Dare Stock, Limited Late Model, SK Light, and SK Modified are all going to come down to the very end. 20 points is just 10 positions on the track. Imagine that. How many races may come down to the very end between these drivers? 2 points per position could come down to a last lap pass to decide our champion. So we'll have to really keep an eye on that as the weeks to come. So that's going to do it for this final edition of Stafford Green-White-Checkered. We would like to thank the Stafford Motor Speedway broadcast team for their efforts week in and week out. Our announcers, Ben Dodge and Matt Buckler, for calling the races as hard as they could with all the passion that they have. And most importantly, our faithful viewers for their continuous support of our show. We thank you for that. For our producer, Antonio Squitieri, for the entire crew here at Nutmeg TV, I'm your host, your Stafford insider, Darren Ayotte, signing off for Stafford Green-White-Checkered. Take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the season at Stafford Motor Speedway.